Welcome to our breakdown of the recent Torrance Unified School District Board meeting. We've gone through it all to pull out the key moments that really matter to you, the district's dedicated employees. So, first up, let's look at the big picture, the district's performance, and a key personnel update. The meeting really kicked off on a high note, celebrating some remarkable student achievements and introducing a new leader to the team. First, the district celebrated a 73% college and career readiness rate. Now, why is that number such a big deal? Well, it's all about the growth. This has jumped almost 20 percentage points since 2022. That's a massive leap in just a couple of years. And the good news didn't stop there. When we look at advanced placement exams, the district has hit an all-time high pass rate of 87%. And get this, it's not because fewer students are taking the tests. Actually, it's the opposite. TUSD also set a new record for the number of students taking and passing AP exams. This next one is a huge milestone for district accountability. For the first time ever, TUSD has 0 schools in either the comprehensive or targeted school improvement programs. The final school, Sherry High, officially exited the program this year. That's a big win. All right, let's talk people. The board officially welcomed Mr. William Arguello Wong as the new Director of Human Resources. He's coming over from Compton Unified, where he has a long and respected track record, and everyone's pointing to his collaborative leadership style as a real asset. Okay, let's switch gears and talk about the bottom line, finances. And this part of the meeting, well, it was really a tale of two different stories, one about internal strength and another about some major external pressures. So, let's start with the good news. The annual independent audit came back clean. That means no material misstatements or findings. The board made a point to praise the fiscal and accounting departments for all their hard work. This is the second time in 3 years they've achieved this. But that positive internal report, it was immediately followed by a pretty big external challenge. The Torrance Council of PTAs had just come back from a legislative conference in Sacramento, and they brought some pretty sobering news to the board. And what's that challenge? It's a huge number. $5.6 billion. According to the PTA reps, that's how much the state government is currently deferring, basically holding back in Prop 98 funds that are owed to schools all across California. This creates some serious budget uncertainty for districts like ours, and it could potentially impact everything from future hiring to salary increases. Okay, so you've got this backdrop, right? A clean local audit on one hand, but this big statewide funding pressure on the other. With that in mind, the board moved on to several actions that directly affect district staff. So here's what they did. The board took action on 4 key items. First, they approved a reduction of 1.5 certificated positions. Second, they did the routine annual release of all temporary employees. Third, they ratified an agreement for a one-time payment to help part-time teachers with healthcare costs. And finally, and this is the big one, they officially kicked off contract negotiations with the Torrance Teachers Association. To kick things off, the district presented what's called a sunshine proposal. Think of this as the first public step in the whole negotiation process. It's what's known as an unzipped contract, which means basically everything is on the table for discussion. But the district did make a point to specifically highlight salary, benefits, class size, and work hours as the key areas they want to focus on. Well, as you can imagine, the official opening of negotiations really set the stage for the public comment portion of the meeting. It was completely dominated by some really passionate pleas from teachers, parents, and even a student, and they were all talking about one thing: employee pay. Mark Puzic, a teacher who's been with the district for 25 years, he used this great analogy. He said, no matter how flat a pancake, it always has 2 sides. He described the fluffy top side as all the amazing student achievement. But then he talked about the burnt bottom side, which for him is educators feeling demoralized and being, in his words, dead last in pay compared to 12 similar districts. Then a parent, Tandy Dilzell, came up and put the whole issue into some really stark economic terms. She pointed out that back in 2003, an average teacher's salary was about 15% of the price of an average Torrance home. Today, she calculated that it's down to just 6%. That makes it almost impossible for new teachers to even think about living in the community where they work. And it wasn't just adults. A senior from West High actually brought his own data to the podium. He presented this comparison showing that since 2020, the superintendent's pay has gone up 42%, while teacher pay has gone up 23%. He argued that this just isn't an equitable way to distribute the district's funds. So, you can feel it, right? The meeting wrapped up with this really clear tension in the air. On one side, you have a district that's performing at an incredibly high level academically, which is something to be proud of. But on the other, you have a workforce that feels like it's being left behind economically. As TUSD heads into these formal negotiations, the big question hanging over everything is, how will the district balance its amazing successes with the very real economic pressures facing its staff? This is, without a doubt, going to be the central issue to watch in the weeks and months to come.